I'm not lying to you folks. I'm not a pervert. I'm not anything." These were the exact words that escaped from 49-year-old teacher Stephen Soto's mouth as the walls closed in around him. The moment when he finally realized that everything he'd built, every lie he'd carefully constructed, every boundary he'd crossed while thinking no one was watching, was about to come crashing down. This wasn't just another interrogation. This was the unraveling of a predator who thought he was untouchable. And what the cameras captured that day would expose a pattern of abuse that had been hiding in plain sight for years. But here's what makes this story even more disturbing. Soto wasn't alone. Across America, 5 separate cases emerged almost simultaneously, each one revealing the same chilling pattern. Teachers and school administrators, people entrusted with our children's safety, caught in lies so obvious, so reckless, that you'll wonder how they ever thought they'd get away with it. If you appreciate the work we do here at Cold Case Crimes, exposing the truth behind cases that make you question everything you thought you knew about the people we trust most, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on those notifications. Because we're about to take you inside interrogation rooms where lies meet evidence, and there's nowhere left to hide. This is a journey into deception, manipulation, and the moment when truth becomes undeniable. Let's begin with Stephen Soto. March 2019. A female student at a California elementary school gathered the courage to tell her friends something that had been haunting her. Her PE teacher, a man nearly 50 years old, had pulled her aside from class the previous month. He told her he needed to fix a test she'd taken. Standard procedure, right? Except when they were alone in that classroom, Stephen Soto touched her inappropriately. The whispers spread. The friends told their parents. The parents contacted the school. And within weeks, Stephen Soto was arrested on a warrant and brought into an interrogation room where 2 detectives were waiting with questions he wasn't prepared to answer. The detective leaned forward, his voice calm but firm. "You say you normally take 3 to 4 kids. What happened this time?" Soto shifted in his seat. "This time it was just her, you know. She asked me because she goes, 'I was concerned about Friday because you're going to meet my mommy and all this stuff.' And I said, 'Okay.' You know, I wasn't even thinking." "Why, if you're going to take a female student to your class, didn't you think to grab another one?" the detective pressed. "Honestly, I just wanted to get her work done, get her out, and then go back to specials. I'm doing well, and like I said, that's my bad." Right there. In those first few minutes, Soto admitted to violating the most basic protocol in any school. Never be alone with a student. It's not a suggestion. It's a policy. It's protection. It's common sense. But he broke it anyway. The detective wasn't letting this slide. "Was she the only one in the classroom with you at that time? Do you normally take kids into the classroom?" What I was telling them, normally I try to get a couple of kids. Is that policy, or is that common practice, or what is it? Soto's answer revealed everything. "It's probably common practice. I don't know, I'm sure it's written somewhere. But if you're going to bring a student back to your classroom, you always bring at least one if there's another adult there, or if not an adult, then you're supposed to bring a couple of kids." "And why didn't you on that day?" "I wasn't even thinking. Yeah, and that's why I said that's my bad." The detective moved to the next piece of evidence. "What is that thing that's on your door? It's like a black cover. What is it for?" "Oh, that's for the lockdown drills." "Do you normally have yours drawn?" "It's always up," Soto insisted. "It's always up." "Yeah, unless we have an active lockdown, then we put it down, or when the kids play with it after school." "Do you ever have yours up for your planning period, where you don't want to be bothered?" "No." "If you're in the classroom with a student, and you notice it's down, would you fix it?" "Oh yeah, definitely." "You didn't notice it was down?" "No." This was critical. The window cover that should always be up, providing visibility into the classroom for anyone walking by, was down during his time alone with the victim. a barrier between what was happening inside that room and the rest of the world, and Soto claimed he didn't even notice. The detective wasn't buying it. Neither should you. At any time while in the classroom did you say, "Hey, I'm going to tickle you"? Did you attempt to tickle her? Did you place your hands on her in any other way other than her arm? And here, Soto made one of the most revealing statements of the entire interrogation. Okay, because she's one of those students that, if I did something like that, I know she would tell the whole world. Listen to what he just said. He admitted that he had thought about it. He had categorized this child. He had evaluated whether she was someone who would report him. This wasn't a casual observation. This was the mindset of a predator who carefully selects his victims. The detective caught it immediately. So you're telling me if you did something to her, she would tell? Yes. So why are we getting this allegation? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But the detective had been holding back. He had evidence that Soto didn't know about, and now it was time to deploy it. I reviewed the school video from that day. Okay? First thing, she was in a sling. She was sitting on the bench next to a little boy. I see you come down with your class. Your class sits. You walk around for a bit, then you walk over directly to her. You have some type of conversation. After you have the conversation, she gets up. You guys walk up that stairwell, the side stairwell, walk up to the second floor. She had a sling on. Soto's response: I honestly don't remember the sling. Okay, I knew it was the week before, but she had a sling on that day. Her arm was in a full sling, completely wrapped. Here's what makes this so damning. A sling is not a subtle detail. It's not something you miss. It's a bright white medical device wrapped around a child's entire arm. Yet Soto, who claimed to remember every word of their conversation, somehow couldn't recall this obvious visual marker. The detective wasn't done. Now, you remember taking her to the classroom to do work, and you remember specific details about her arm was hurting, and you went over to her and you were like, "Let me see," and you were touching her arm. If you remember those specific details, I don't understand why you can't remember the detail about the sling. Because that would explain why her arm was hurting, right? But when I went over there, there was nothing on her arm. But even if she didn't have that sling on, her arm would have still been wrapped. The arm was bandaged. But it was bare. Her arm was bare. In this video, her arm wasn't bare. When she came to the classroom, it was there. So she would have had to take that off as she walked up with you. Because on video, you walk in front of her. You go around the stairs. You're in front of her. She's on your left-hand side. Her arm is completely in a sling. I see her go past the camera with a sling on her arm, and you continue to walk up. The evidence was airtight. The surveillance footage contradicted every single claim Soto was making, but the detective wasn't finished yet. Have you ever tickled her? No. Have you ever horseplayed with her? Not horseplay like touching her. No. Have you ever whatever you want to call it? Have you guys ever did anything that would allude to being in a playful manner? In a playful manner, joking with them, yeah. Okay, but not one-on-one, joking in the class in a group setting. Have you ever tried to tickle her in a group? No. But the detective had interviewed other students, lots of them, and what they said painted a very different picture. A lot of other students have told us you'll mess around like every once in a while, joke around with them and stuff. Sometimes you'll try to lighten the mood if they're sad or down. They said that you call it like a tickling thing where you're like, "I'm going to get you, I'm going to tickle you." But I never touched anything inappropriately. I got like more than 8 kids who told me that you said, "Hey, I'm going to get your tickle spot," and you poke them. Have you ever said, "I'm going to get your tickle spot"? Honestly, I don't know, okay? I mean, I could. I may have, but I don't. If I had a Bible, I would put it right there. I would. I'm sure you probably hear this all the time. But I would never touch a girl or a boy, for that matter, in any inappropriate area. Notice the shift. He went from absolute denial to "I may have, but..." The story was changing. The certainty was crumbling. Have you ever received a complaint from any student on campus? Yeah, too, like I told you about 2 years ago. And what was that complaint exactly? The same thing, the tickling. Okay, the tickling, so you have tickled students. Not her. There it was, an admission of prior complaints. The same pattern, the same behavior. This wasn't a first offense. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a documented pattern of conduct that had been reported before, and somehow Stephen Soto was still in a classroom with children. There have been complaints from multiple students who said that they've heard and seen you gesture to other students, making comments about their bodies. Have you ever done something like that? Oh my gosh. When confronted about inappropriate comments about students' bodies, Soto acted shocked. But these students came from different classrooms, different grade levels. There was no coordination, no group conspiracy, just multiple independent reports of the same disturbing behavior. So are these kids all lying on you? I don't know. You don't? Well, but hold on 1 second. You said she was lying. But earlier you told me that if you were to ever do something, you know that she would be the one who would just go out there and tell the world. Exactly. So why is she telling the world? I don't know. That's why I'm very confused and upset. But one of the kids said you were one of her favorite teachers. Literally said that you're her favorite teacher in the whole world, and she had so much fun in your class. I tried. So why the lie? I don't know. That's why I'm trying to figure it out. Well, I don't know why they're lying, right? And I don't know why it's a whole bunch of people telling me the same story. I've been doing this job for 11 years now, and when details and stories don't change, there's usually something to it. So what I want to do is, I don't want you to paint yourself as this bad person, this monster. I want you to paint yourself as the person who may have made a mistake. The detective was offering him a way out, a chance to claim it was all an accident, a misunderstanding, but Soto still wasn't taking it. I need you to be honest with me. If you accidentally touched her, or if you did something in a way that, or reached over her, glazed over her shoulders or something, just tell me. And I have no problem with that because that's not an inappropriate touch, right? I have no problem with that. Like I told you last night, I have no problem if I make a mistake. I'll confess to it. Yeah, but if I know I truly didn't do something. But the detective had one more piece of evidence, and this one was devastating. Her grades. She went from a student, high marks in your class. She was doing extremely well. And then, as strange as it is, right after this February 13th, this Wednesday, this specific date that we're focused so hard on right now, we've been talking about it for the last, I don't know, hour. Why are her grades plummeting? I don't know. 60s. Like she's doing terribly now in your class. Think about what this means. A student suddenly failed immediately after the alleged incident. The psychological impact was undeniable. The timing was impossible to ignore. Something traumatic had occurred, and the evidence was written in her failing grades. She was in your class for roughly 15 minutes. So there's still. 15 minutes is long. I'm not disagreeing with you folks. You have to give me something here because you're not giving me an explanation as to why this student's in that room with you for 15 minutes besides homework, and you are not telling anybody. I would think you would say, hey, you want to come over real quick and we can go over some lesson plans. Hey, let me grab a couple of students who need to catch up on work. And that's why I said that was my bad, because I was just trying to rush and get through. I wasn't thinking. But that's not what happened. What are you rushing to get through? No, just to get her work done. So these kids who are telling me that you're making comments about their bodies, multiple kids, are lying. Multiple kids are telling me that you've reached and you've touched them in inappropriate places. Those kids are lying. This child who says that you are her favorite teacher in the world is telling me that you have touched her, and now she's lying. So it's the world against you. I'm just telling you what I know. The pressure was mounting. The detective dropped the friendly approach and started pushing harder. If you're still watching at this point, drop a comment with "I'm still here." Let's see who's truly following this shocking story, because what happens next is the moment everything changes. You did make a mistake when you commented about these other girls, talked about their bodies. You did make a mistake when you reached out and you touched these students. You made a mistake. I make mistakes. I don't think you're a bad person. I don't want to think that about you. I appreciate it. I need you to help me, though. Even if I said this, is that a crime? That's not a crime. Okay, so did you say it? Maybe, I don't know. I think you did, but it's not a crime just to make a comment. It's not a crime, so did you say it? I don't know, maybe. I don't know, maybe, and I don't know are two different things. Did you say it? I don't know, I think you do. I think you do know. Maybe, I'm sorry, I think it's okay. I don't know, I could have. I could, I don't know, I could, I just don't know. Soto's story was falling apart in real time. The certainty was gone. The denials had shifted to maybes. And then came the bluff that would end everything. Why are the cameras showing me what they're telling me? I don't know. You don't know. If the camera is in your classroom and it's showing us what she told us, how don't you know? Why can't you explain that to me? I don't know. You have to know, either you did it or you didn't, and the camera shows you did it. So tell me what happened. Why did you do it? Tell me why. I know it happened. I know it did. I watched it. Why? Was it an accident? Here's the thing. There were no cameras in that classroom, but Soto didn't know that, and his response confirmed everything the detectives needed to know. No, nothing. I mean, I didn't do anything. It was an accident. To touch her. Yeah, like I said, if I touched her, that I don't recollect. If I touched her, then it's an accident. This was not an accident. It wasn't. I don't know why we're holding on to this. There are cameras in the classroom, you know about them. They're showing me what happened. Tell me, just tell me, was it an accident? That admission, that if he touched her it was an accident, was all the confirmation investigators needed. He'd gone from absolute denial to conditional admission. The lies had finally collapsed under the weight of evidence that didn't even exist. You know, no matter what, I'm going to lose my career. I'm probably going to go to jail after tonight. Why are we stuck on that? Because that's my whole future. It's teaching, you know. I'm not going to. I'll get fired right after this. If I go to jail tonight, I'm going to be fired. We're not here by mistake and we're not here by accident. And everything is in God's plan. It's by His design. We are all sinners and we are not all perfect. We all fall short of the glory, man. Tell us. Can I have my lawyer? Perfect, no problem. And just like that, the interrogation was over. Stephen Soto was charged with 1 count of lewd behavior with a minor and 1 count of sexual assault of a minor. He was granted a $75,000 bond and walked out of jail that same night. His trial has been repeatedly pushed back, but the evidence against him remains overwhelming. But Soto's case wasn't isolated. It was part of a disturbing pattern emerging across the country. In September 2021, substitute teacher Yasin Asher was brought in for interrogation after multiple girls under the age of 12 reported inappropriate touching at the school where he taught. The parents of the victims had exposed him, and what he said during that interrogation would shock you. You've been doing this for how long? No, that's not true. So these kids are all making it up. No, you tell me. The whole school's going to make something up. No, I'm telling you the truth about them, how they're, but I don't know about. Are you willing to take a lie detector test? It's really a stress voice analysis test. But will you be willing to take something like that? No. Why? I'm afraid of that. Why? It won't hurt you. That's why. How is it going to hurt you? It's not painful. Or are you afraid because you're not being honest with me? Think about that response for a moment. An innocent person would jump at the chance to prove their innocence. A lie detector test would vindicate them, clear their name, and send them home. But Yasin refused. He was afraid, not of the machine, but of what the results would show. You cried to me. You told me you were a good kid and that you were sorry. Yeah, but you're not being sorry. You're not sorry. You say you're sorry. You're not sorry. Because you're not being completely honest with me. If somebody's truly sorry and wants forgiveness with anybody, you'd be honest. At first, Yasin didn't cooperate. He didn't admit to the accusations. He just kept apologizing, over and over. But if he were truly innocent, why apologize at all? I don't understand why you keep hiding things. These kids, what did I tell you earlier? That sooner or later everything comes out. I really didn't do that. So if I pull the video, I will not see you touching anybody that day you substituted. Watch his face when the detective mentions video evidence. Pure shock. His eyes widened. His body tenses. He wasn't expecting them to have proof. He thought it would be his word against the children's, and he'd already calculated that adults would believe him over them. He was wrong. Eventually, Yasin cracked. The pressure became too much. The lies were exhausting, and the evidence was undeniable. Just touched her, like what? Show me your hand on the table. She said 2 minutes. Did you leave it there or something else? I left it there. Okay, and while you guys were doing what? Like, was she not saying anything? Were you saying something? She didn't tell me anything. How long did that last for? About 2 minutes. She just let you. Yeah. She just let you. Those 4 words reveal everything you need to know about Yasin's mindset. He blamed a child under the age of 12. He claimed she let him as if she had any power, any choice, any responsibility in that situation. As if a student has the ability to stop a teacher, an authority figure, someone she's been taught to trust and obey. Yasin Asher was charged and found guilty of sexually assaulting 4 underage girls. He received an 8-year prison term for each count, to be served consecutively, 32 years total. After serving his sentence, he will be deported to his home country as a registered sex offender. His name will follow him for the rest of his life. But the pattern continued. On March 27, 2022, officers arrived at Coach Vigilante de la Rosa's house to arrest him on a warrant for multiple counts of lewd acts on victims as young as 12 years old. When police went to handcuff him, Vigilante had a very unusual reaction. Can it be in front of me? Can it be in front of me? We'll see, but usually no. I'll do what I can. I'm doing everything I can to make you comfortable. His breathing became rapid, panicked. His hands were shaking, the color drained from his face. Give me a second. I got something that might work. You want to walk over here? Yeah, let's walk over here. Go ahead. Come here, come here, come here. Take them off. Take them off. Stand still for a second. Hang on 1 second. Do you have any type of anxiety or anything like that? According to the arrest statement, there had been an ongoing investigation into Vigilante for over 4 months before his arrest. The report states that he would touch girls inappropriately when he hugged them during coaching sessions, building trust, using his position, normalizing physical contact until the boundaries blurred and the abuse could occur hidden in plain sight. Clearly, Vigilante didn't expect to be caught. He was having a full panic attack in his own driveway. Officers had to calm him down, so they decided not to cuff him initially. But they made it crystal clear he was still under arrest. You're not handcuffed right now. I want you to remain calm and be cool, okay? There's an outstanding warrant issued for your arrest. It's out of Lake County, okay? So your beef is not with us. Sergeant House and you have a relationship. We want to maintain professionalism and respect, okay? But we still have a job to do. So what's happening? There's a warrant. Somebody in Lake County or Clermont, I forget who it is, has probable cause for charges. They've got a $30,000 bond. So that means you got to go see a bondsman. You'll have to pay that bondsman 10% of that 30,000. What is that? 3,000. These aren't my charges. I have no idea what the details are. They just called us and said, "Hey, we would like you to go and pick him up." You may have thought Vigilante's tears were meant to imply he was anxious, shocked, and had no idea why he was being arrested. But notice something crucial. He never once asked what charges the warrant was for. Not once. He didn't say, "What did I do?" He didn't say, "There must be some mistake." He knew. He knew exactly what he was going to jail for. He was later transported to Orange County, where his arrest warrant originated. Police confiscated Vigilante's phone and other devices as evidence, and what they found was damning. The phone contained a private photo vault app, a hidden folder disguised as a calculator or a notepad app, which was used to store inappropriate images of children. Vigilante de la Rosa was charged with multiple counts of lewd and lascivious acts on minors and was sentenced to 29 years in prison. 29 years. He'll be nearly 70 years old when he gets out, if he ever does. But if you thought predatory behavior was the only crime teachers committed, you'd be wrong. On June 12, 2022, cops were called to the scene of a car accident in a parking garage. The driver who caused the crash was identified as kindergarten teacher Allison. Let me talk to you over here, okay? So what happened? No, honestly, the AC in my car is out. I was fixing my hair. I didn't realize they were braking as fast as they were. I didn't realize there was a big line and I literally just smacked into them. I've had 2 shots and 1 drink tonight. Right off the bat, Allison incriminates herself. She admits to drinking before the accident but tries to minimize it, as if consuming alcohol before driving becomes acceptable if you only had a little. What she doesn't understand is that drinking and driving is illegal regardless of the amount consumed. The law doesn't care if you had 2 drinks or 10. If you're impaired, you're impaired. Right now, if you had to rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being completely sober, 10 being the most intoxicated you've ever been in your life, where would you say you are right now? Probably like a 5, like definitely like, yeah. Okay, so you're feeling it. Not like feel it, yeah. Okay, with that in mind, do you think it's a good idea for you to be driving right now? I mean, I definitely thought it was okay to drive. Like, given what's happened, did your opinion change perhaps? I mean, no, because I was genuinely finishing my hair. Like I said, the AC in my car was out. I was trying to pull up my hair and it was stupid of me. Notice how she's still blaming the air conditioning, still blaming her hair, anything but the alcohol. If I were to hand you the keys to a school bus full of kids right now, would you feel safe driving that? Probably not, because I am an education major and I do care. I would never care for any kids intoxicated. Ever. Okay, so you think because you are intoxicated, it's probably not safe to be driving kids around. Not kids around. I would never want to have other lives reliable. Would you be willing to do a couple of tests to make sure it's good for you to drive? Absolutely. Allison confidently agreed to field sobriety tests, thinking that being a 5 out of 10 sober was enough for her to drive. In reality, any amount of alcohol can negatively affect the ability to safely operate a vehicle. Reaction time slows, judgment becomes impaired, vision blurs, and people die. After performing the tests, the officer confirmed what was already obvious. Allison was not safe to drive, but she had a different opinion. How did you think you did on those tests? I feel like I did fine, to be honest. Okay, felt like you did fine. Like if you had to rate yourself, were we talking like 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%. Probably like an 8, like at least passing, like 8 out of 10. Okay, hypothetical. Do you think if you were to drive at an 8 out of 10, that's necessarily safe? If there's a 20% chance you might be running somebody over. Honestly, obviously I'd always want my friends to be with someone who's like 100% okay to drive. But yes, I thought it was okay to get home. Okay. Based on everything that's happened tonight, with the crash that happened here, signs of intoxication I'm seeing, the performance on these tests, I don't think it's safe for you to be driving tonight, okay? Okay, can I have my friend come get me home? Nope. So if you can place your hands behind your back, you are under arrest for DWI right now. You'd expect Allison would feel at least a little guilty, some remorse, some understanding of the danger she'd put people in, but that wasn't the case. She went from crying to smiling and joking around with her friends within seconds. Do you want my property? Smile. I didn't really get on my chest. I'm not going to. What was the test? I did so well. I don't know why he told me I failed. I followed his fingers. I was on it. I took the walking test. Are you kidding? Yes, I'm in. Oh wait, I think Clint just tried to call back. Clint, please don't be mad at me. I was fixing my hair while I was driving and of course they're arresting me. I'm really sorry. I'm not even that drunk. I've had 2 shots and 1. Yeah, but will you put my mugshot on a t-shirt? Don't be mad at me. I'm trying to be a teacher and my dad's dead, so I don't need dad lectures right now. Be real, okay? But wait, take this. Oh no, really? I haven't met that many people that are excited for this. The officers took her mugshot while she posed and smiled like she was at a photo shoot, requesting her mugshot on a t-shirt, laughing with her friends, treating her arrest like an inconvenience, a funny story to tell later instead of what it really was, a serious crime that could have killed someone. Allison was taken to a jail facility where she spent the rest of her night. She faces charges of DWI. For first-time offenders, her bail bond could be up to $3,000. But more importantly, her teaching career is likely over before it even started. These are the disgusting crimes committed by teachers. But what happens when it's a school principal who commits the crime? On August 30th, 2022, police rushed to the scene after middle school principal Eartha Dudley Mao crashed and caused property damage to 2 houses. But when they asked Eartha what had happened, she didn't plan on telling the truth. What happened? I just have to go to the bathroom, sir. But you're not answering my question for me. Yes, sir, what happened? I just have to go to the bathroom. No, that's not the question that I asked you. The question I'm asking you is, there was no accident, sir. There was no accident, sir. There was no, man, look at your vehicle, look at the vehicle. I just have to go to the bathroom. You're not understanding me. I need you to look where your vehicle is right now. I need you to see that all of your airbags have deployed. They have, sir. You do not have shoes on right now. I took them off in the car because I came out to speak to you, sir. She claimed she was fine, as if her damaged car behind her wasn't all the proof the cops needed. But as she tried to dodge the officer's questions, she lost her balance, stumbling slightly to the right, catching herself on the hood of a nearby car. Mally was drunk and unstable, and everyone knew it. Can you just get the license, registration, insurance for me, please? Yes, sir. Can I just go to the bathroom, please? I need to deal with this first and then we could proceed. I just have to go to the bathroom. I can't hold it. I'm just being honest. I cannot hold it. I understand, ma'am, but right now you're involved in a motor vehicle accident. I'm not. I'm in my driveway. You are. This is not your driveway. Is this your driveway? Not my driveway. I pulled over because they asked me to pull over. I have to go to the bathroom. I'm just asking, can I please go to the bathroom, sir? That's all I have to do. Let me ask you a question, okay? Have you been drinking today? Earlier today I was. Earlier today you were. I can't do this, please, I'm sorry. I'm asking. My father is a retired detective in New York. And there it was, the appeal to authority, the assumption that mentioning her father's police connection would somehow get her special treatment, that the rules didn't apply to her because of who she knew. But the officer wasn't impressed. The law doesn't care who your father is. She insisted on using the bathroom, but the cops knew it was all a stalling tactic, a delay, an attempt to sober up before they could administer a breathalyzer test. The driver of this vehicle, she just had to stop to use the bathroom. She ended up, I didn't hit anything. I just need to stop. I have to go to the bathroom. I'm fine. My license just fell there. I have my driver's license. It fell there. Insurance fell on the side, sir. I just have to go to the bathroom. Okay, and I just told you I had to go to the bathroom really bad. I understand that, but we're a little limited on options. Thank you so much. Stay here, thank you. Are we going to test? Let's get moving. At this point, the cops were getting annoyed, so they decided to quickly administer the sobriety tests and get it over with. Little did they know, Mal really did need to use the bathroom. What happened next was both predictable and pathetic. I'll take the test, but I really... Okay, sir, I got you. Like I said, you take the test or you come with me in cuffs. Those are the only two options that I'm giving you right now. I will take the test, I have to. I understand you have to. The test. I have to do the test before you use the bathroom. I'm just saying I have to. We understand. You have been telling me that you have to use the bathroom since I got here. That's it. Okay, I got you. Take this test or you're coming in handcuffs. So my partner's going to read from a book aloud and I'm going to demonstrate the test so you can see it. And then you're going to perform it. I understand that, but you're not going to piss in that bush over there. After about 5 more minutes of complaining, the officers finally got her to perform the sobriety test. And once the first test was done, Malloy suddenly developed a convenient medical condition. So real quick, are you refusing to conduct this test right now because of whatever medical conditions you're claiming? I'm stating to you that I have to use the bathroom. So let me ask you this, are you able to perform this test? I'm unable to perform the test that you're asking me to perform. Okay, so that's both tests. That's both tests. Both tests. Okay, ma'am, just do me a favor, turn around, put your hands behind your back. Okay, I can do it. No, sir, I can do it. Going from having a debilitating medical condition to being perfectly fine is impressive. However, it was too late for Malloy. After a little resistance, she was arrested and put in the back of the police car. But back at the station, she wasn't done fighting yet. What followed was over an hour of the most uncooperative behavior officers had seen in years. I'm going to go back because I think there's a little confusion about what's going on. I'm going to say this one more time, last chance, it's on a body camera. I will go to court that day. The law requires you to submit samples of your breath for testing. Will you submit samples of your breath? Yes or no? I can't ask any questions. Okay, that's a refusal. Refusal? I'm not refusing anything. I'm just asking why am I not permitted to question. Okay, yeah, she's got to fingerprint you now. Can I ask a question? We've got to fingerprint you and then we'll be on the way, okay? But just so you know, I've read that at least 10 times. My partner tried to read the other thing at least 10 times. I made it clear. Mal refused to take a breathalyzer test. She repeatedly pulled her hand away when police tried to fingerprint her. She argued. She complained. She stalled. I'm sitting here doing it and you're asking me to do it. Come on, stop. Can someone else do it? I'm asking. And I'm telling you to go back into the cell. Why? I'm telling you to go back into the cell. I understand what you're telling me, but why? I went to the bathroom. I washed my hands. I'm willing to put it in. Ma'am, we asked you for simple instructions like I've been telling you time and time again. My God, can you go into the cell, please? But I'm willing to put it up there. We're past that because you lost your chance. Can you go to the cell? What do you mean I lost my chance? Ma'am, go back to the cell. I could care less. Go back to the cell. But go back. You're refusing to let me fingerprint myself. Are you going to let me continue then? Are you done asking anything? So no more questions, no more talking. I haven't asked any questions. Okay, I haven't asked questions. Can you let my partner do it? I haven't done anything. I put my hands up. If we keep going, you're going to go back to the cell. Thank you. Eventually, Township Councilman Bill Rutherford arrived at the station, and the police released Mally into his custody. She was charged with DWI and driving an unregistered vehicle. She later resigned from her position as middle school principal. The woman responsible for educating and protecting hundreds of children couldn't even take responsibility for her own actions. 5 different cases, 5 different teachers and administrators, 5 different states, but one disturbing pattern that connects them all: abuse of power, betrayal of trust, and the arrogant belief that they were untouchable. Stephen Soto spent years carefully selecting victims, testing boundaries, calculating which children would report him and which wouldn't. He had prior complaints. The system knew, and yet he remained in a classroom with access to children. Yasin Asher preyed on girls under 12, believing his word would be trusted over theirs. He refused a polygraph test because he knew what the results would show. And when he finally confessed, he blamed the victims, claiming they let him, as if children have any power to stop an adult authority figure. Vigilante de la Rosa used his position as a coach to gain access to children. He normalized physical contact through hugs and encouragement, blurring the boundaries until abuse could occur hidden in plain sight. And when officers came to arrest him, he had a panic attack, not because he was innocent, but because he knew exactly what he'd done. Allison, the kindergarten teacher, showed a complete lack of judgment and responsibility. She drove drunk, crashed into another vehicle, and then treated her arrest like a photo opportunity, requesting her mugshot on a t-shirt, laughing with friends. No remorse, no understanding of the danger she'd put people in. And Principal Eartha Dudley Mall crashed into 2 homes while intoxicated, then tried to use her father's law enforcement connections to escape accountability. She stalled, she argued. She refused to cooperate, believing that the rules didn't apply to her. These cases reveal something critical about how predators operate. They don't look like monsters. They look like teachers, coaches, principals, people we trust, people we put in charge of our children's safety and education. And that's exactly what makes them so dangerous. Notice the patterns. They isolate victims. They test boundaries gradually, normalizing inappropriate behavior over time. They select victims they believe won't report them. They use their authority and the trust placed in them to manipulate. And when caught, they lie, deny, and minimize until the evidence becomes overwhelming. But these cases also show us that justice is possible when victims find the courage to speak up, when parents and students support each other, when law enforcement takes allegations seriously, when evidence is properly collected and preserved. The truth comes out, and predators face consequences. According to the Department of Education, approximately 10% of students will experience some form of misconduct by a school employee during their K-12 education. 10%. That's 1 in every 10 children sitting in a classroom right now. And many cases go unreported because children are afraid they won't be believed, afraid they'll get in trouble, afraid no one will take them seriously. Let's recap the justice that was served. Stephen Soto was charged with 1 count of lewd behavior with a minor and 1 count of sexual assault of a minor. His trial is pending, but the evidence against him is overwhelming. Yasin Asher was convicted of sexually assaulting 4 underage girls. He was sentenced to 8 years per count, 32 years total, to be served consecutively. After serving his sentence, he will be deported to his home country and registered as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Vigilante de la Rosa was convicted of multiple counts of lewd and lascivious acts on minors. He was sentenced to 29 years in prison. He'll be nearly 70 years old if and when he's released. Allison was charged with DWI as a first-time offender. She faces up to $3,000 in fines and the likely end of her teaching career before it even began. Eartha Dudley Malley was charged with DWI and driving an unregistered vehicle. She resigned from her position as middle school principal, ending a career built on the trust of parents and students that she ultimately betrayed. These sentences matter. They send a message that no one is above the law, not teachers, not coaches, not principals. No matter how respected, how trusted, how connected you are, if you abuse your position and harm children, you will face consequences. So here's what I want you to think about. What shocked you most about these cases? Was it the calculated way Soto selected his victims? Was it Yasin's refusal to take a polygraph because he knew the truth would come out? Was it Vigilante's panic attack when he realized he'd been caught? Was it Allison treating her arrest like a joke? Or was it Malloy's arrogant belief that her connections would protect her? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Have you or someone you know experienced something similar? Your stories matter. They help other viewers realize they're not alone, and they remind us all why this work is so important. If you think this story was unbelievable, wait until you hear what happened in our next investigation. We're diving into a case that involves not just one predator, but an entire network of people who knew, who covered up, who protected the abuser for years. It's a story of institutional failure, of children betrayed by everyone who was supposed to protect them. And it's a story that will make you question everything you thought you knew about how these systems work. Subscribe to Cold Case Crimes for more true crime investigations that will keep you thinking long after the video ends. Because we're not here to entertain you. We're here to expose the truth, to give victims a voice, to hold predators accountable, and to make sure that stories like these are never forgotten. At Cold Case Crimes, we believe in justice. We believe in accountability. We believe that sunlight is the best disinfectant. These teachers and administrators thought they were untouchable. They thought their positions of authority would protect them. They were wrong. And we'll keep investigating, keep exposing, and keep fighting for victims until every predator is behind bars where they belong. Remember, if you see something, say something. Your voice could save a child's life. Trust your instincts. Believe children when they speak up. And never assume that someone's position or reputation means they're incapable of harm. The monsters in these stories didn't look like monsters. They looked like teachers. This has been Cold Case Crimes. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next investigation.